Welcome along. It's another one of our West London VR races. In fact, it's the last of the VR races that's sort of independent. From now on, in the future, starting on April the 5th, they will become a series, and we will be running. There'll be prizes and trophies at the end, but that will run over 6 months. More of that later. That will be our VR series on Catesport, where it is more fun. And you've just seen the video, lots and lots of choices, and that's what it's all about. Now, you need more skills for Catesport than other platforms: braking, cornering, crashing on corners. Now, tonight, we've made it particularly difficult because we picked one of the courses with the most bends, so they're sharp 90-degree bends. You can see here where all the bends are. You can see the start line is actually on a bend, which means the finish line, you come around just from the sort of kind of north of that map and hit that sharp left-hand bend on the finish. So sprinting for the finish, if you are neck and neck, is going to have to be very, very controlled so you don't crash on that last bend. But you can see where they all are. There's a big sort of sweeping round one shortly into the lap, but most of the rest are 90-degree bends, very, very crashable. Now, we have offered some power-ups, 2 corner capers and 2 great responsibilities. The corner capers allow you to go around a corner without crashing. The 2 great responsibilities will give you great power and you can speed up. The riders need to choose carefully when they're going to use these, and you will be able to see on screen when they use them, because there will be some graphics that clearly display what's going on. Certainly for the great responsibility one, the corner caper will be obvious because they whiz around without crashing. 35 seconds to go to the start now. People warm up on Catesport and get transported to the start line. So you don't see these sort of huge pens of people waiting because they all come over shortly before the start. So if we go over to the start now, we should see some of the riders. There's one of the West London riders, Baz Mystery, warming up with 18 seconds to go. He will suddenly get transported to the start line. Baz fairly new to, there we are, there's the start line now. Baz fairly new to online racing, so learning his way, shall we say. Frank Garcia in there, Rene Valadez in there. Baz hasn't got going, actually. Malcolm Murdoch has, though. Zany Ryder, Vanessa Mohan, all in there today. Rene Valadez and Baz Mystery uses a power-up just to make some ground, passing everybody. You can see that graphic there as he uses the power-up to chase Frank Garcia, who's gone up way off the front as we hit the first bend. Now, Baz is going to have to be very careful here, and I'm not too surprised that he crashed there. Frank uses the power-up to get away. He's probably using the cornering one there to get around that corner. And he's got quite a gap now. He's got something like 14 seconds on Erhan from Turkey in second place. Frank freewheeling around this corner now. No benefit from the power-up. He uses another power-up here, and I suspect this is the great power one. He's pushing out at a fair old speed, up to 18 seconds over Erhan now. Rene Valadez behind. 20 seconds is Malcolm's distance. Zany Ryder, 21 seconds. Mark Allard Will, the commentator you'll know from this, is even further back. Vanessa Mohan, very experienced rider, is behind Mark as we look at Mark now, with Vanessa just behind. And Baz Mystery way off the back, having used, in fact, way at the back now, Emily M. Just in front of him. We see Mark Allard Will there, the Canadian, and Erhan on the screen now, and we can see the pain fest. Mark doing a fair old cadence there, you can see. Vanessa uses a power up there. She gets around, I think, a couple of bends now without crashing as she whizzes round here. No crash, great speed. So that's one of the corner caper ones being used there. It's a good idea to put these on in quick, where there's bends in quick succession. Each power up will last 20 seconds in this race. Now, we've got this far into the race without even just go, oh, and Vanessa's gone, and this is the danger. You're using great speed after the power up, and you forget to slow down at the next bend. Rene Valadez now in fourth place, as we can see, coasting around that bend very, very carefully, taking it very, very well, stays up, and that's the skill. Now you can see here, I absolutely love the graphics on here. You can see that Rene's chasing Erhan here, and Erhan only really comes into view when he goes under one of the street lamps. You tell me a course like this, because I don't know other platforms that have courses like this. This is absolutely fantastic. Now, I think it depends on how good your vision is. But when I've ridden on this, I can't always make out exactly where the next bend is. So therefore, making sure you slow down and do the right speed for the next bend, it's slightly more tricky on this than it is on other courses. What fantastic graphics. Thanks very much to Damon now for pulling up that aerial view. Absolutely superb. Look at the Cade advert on the left. Absolutely great, isn't it? Cade adverts all over this. Not surprisingly. Now look at that. Oh, we're just about to see that bend from an aerial point of view as Frank Garcia goes around it. He's got something like 40 seconds now. Vanessa in second place, having used that speed, that power up. He's now 40 seconds behind, but Frank pulling away, looking quite convincing. 2.3 kilometres in, 8.4 kilometres still to go. 3 laps around this course. Now, this is a tricky course. The trickiness added to by virtue, and there's Mark Allard now using a power up on this long straight. This will be certainly the great power one to take great speed. And we see Mike now he's braking there. It's interesting. He's pressing the. You can see he's pressing his unit there. So he's right. And again, look, Mark using his thumb there just to brake before the bend. This is quite. You can learn a lot from this. You brake just before the bend, coast around it a little bit. Watch the way Mark rides this. He knows what he's doing here. He's coming up to another bend. Now watch. He'll probably use his left hand now as we approach the bend. Now there we go. There's the braking just before the bend. Takes his hand off the brakes as he hits the bend. Coasts a little bit. Realises he's got capacity by looking at the red zone on his speedometer and starts pedalling when he can afford to. This is exemplary riding, and you can learn a lot from watching this. So well done, Mark. Thanks for sharing that with us, and thanks to Damon for putting it on. Now we look at, there's a little group of riders here. Zany rider just going past Vanessa and Rene there, both in the Cade Sport jerseys. Erhan here, the Turkish rider, runs the Cade Sport Turkey Facebook group. Oh, I thought he was going to slip a little bit there. If he can still catch up a little bit on that straight, it'll be good, but I think probably he's slipping the odd metre or so behind. You can see his concentration there, and just behind him is one of the West London riders. It's Malcolm Murdoch. Malcolm wavering a little bit, but stays close on Erhan's wheel. Malcolm now sitting on the wheel, taking the draft as they complete the first lap. 2 more of these laps to go. We haven't had too many crashes, but and I think this is showing that the riders are getting more and more skilled at these courses, aren't they? And this is one of the more tricky ones. I think Waterfront is probably more tricky than this. And look at Mark getting out of his saddle there, really giving it some, wiping the sweat off his face, using his right arm now to use the braking. Or is he using the braking, or is he perhaps looking to one of the power-ups? Now Frank now 45 seconds ahead of Mark. Mark's stolen into second place. He's just ahead of Zany Rider and Vanessa and Rene. Erhan not far behind with Malcolm on his tail, Emily in there and Baz at the back. Now, as I say, don't judge Baz too much. I'm not sure of Emily's history. I know Baz quite well. He's only recently bought Smart Trainer, gone straight for Cade, absolutely loving it, and kind of understands that it's a learning curve. So very well done, Baz. I think we can all expect a few more crashes, and he's got 1.25 minutes behind Rene now. So I think this is still great stuff. It's not expected to do well on these. If you've ever been on Cade Sport, you will know that this is a learning curve. You are not going to go straight into these races and win if you haven't done it before. We all went on, crashed, got better and better at it, and now you're seeing the results. The riders who've been practicing the most are the ones who are taking the front spots. You've got the Australian Zany rider now, 45 seconds behind Frank. One crash from Frank though, and this could suddenly give everybody else a chance. Although Frank edging out now, 47 seconds ahead of Vanessa. Sorry, I think we might have changed riders. So those, yes, we're changing riders. So ignore what I'm talking about, the distances. So Frank's 52 seconds ahead of Malcolm Murdoch, who we're looking at now in the West London kit. He's just ahead of Erhan, but I think Erhan will sit on his wheel now. Erhan knows what he's doing. Erhan's been on Cade Sport for a little while now, and as I say, runs the Cade Sport Turkey users group on Facebook, so sign yourself up for that. Follow the users group there. Somebody using the power up there. I think it might be Malcolm Murdoch. He's gone for it on a straight. This must be one of the great power ones. Malcolm pulling away from Erhan, obviously. He's got 4 or 5 seconds using the power up now. He's going to catch Zany Ryder. That will put him with the second group on the road, but he needs to watch the bend. The power up seems to finish, so Malcolm's still got the momentum, but he's stopped pedaling there. He should be braking about now. Will he get round the corner without crashing? No! And you can waste a power up in those instances. I think, though, he didn't get caught. I think he got sufficient distance. If you look, got 3 seconds on Rene there. And I think if you're quick about the way you get up, it will give you a penalty of a few seconds. But if you're ready pedaling, you don't lose too much ground. Malcolm is just behind Rene. So from being behind that group, he's at least caught up with the group, even though the crash there. So again, you can see now the difficulties with these courses. I mean, I say difficulties, this is the fun, because this is so much more engaging than other platforms. Zany Ryder now catching up with Malcolm. Malcolm in danger of losing all the benefits of that power up. He's about to use a corner caper one so that he doesn't crash, and he's going quite fast around. But Zany Ryder is taking him on the inside. So, and look at Vanessa. She's using a corner caper in a series of bends. And as I say, always a good idea to use these where there's a series of bends, because over the 20 seconds, if you get around, say, 3 bends, as Vanessa has just done, you've got the best out of a corner caper. This corner caper should die out on this straight. It just does. You can see the graphics go away. Vanessa now on a straight with great momentum coming out of those bends, having used the corner caper, which, remember, lasts for 20 seconds and means you can't crash on a corner. 7.1 kilometres to go on lap 2. Vanessa slows down, 3 wheels around that corner cautiously as we go past the steam pouring out of the manhole cover there. I believe that's probably the condensation coming out of a subway, which I seem to remember from my visits to New York. In the colder climes, you used to see. Frank Garcia now way ahead. He's got 3.4 kilometres to go. He's on lap 3 of 3. And this is Rene, sorry. Rene using a power up here. I'm guessing that's probably, I don't know actually. That might be the end of the corner caper. I don't really know. But anyway, Rene now, quite commanding second position. Zany Ryder, Vanessa behind. Erhan now is ahead of Mark Allard, and I wonder if Mark Allard, who is much higher up, further up, has had some crash issues. Erhan going round now in 5th position into this last lap. He can see Malcolm Murdoch ahead of him, 4 seconds. Can Malcolm hold on? I think Malcolm's best bet now is to ensure he doesn't crash. Not sure how many power-ups everybody's got. So Mark Allard now way back in 6th position. Emily and Baz behind. I'm not sure if there's going to be any contests there. I mean, Emily, Baz is. I think Emily could potentially catch Mark, but I think Mark's a skilled enough rider probably to hold that challenge off. Baz at 3 minutes behind. I think it's just a case of Baz learning how to use Cade. He will come good. I've known Baz for years. He is one of those guys who will just get better and better because he takes it in his stride. Zany Ryder using the power up there, but Malcolm Murdoch sitting on his wheel. Malcolm Murdoch takes him on the inside like Zany Ryder did when Malcolm was using a power up. So something going on there. They're playing cat and mouse. This is probably going to be the exciting bit of the finish. 2.1 kilometres to go. These two neck and neck is probably the tussle that's going to be the most interesting. They're not that far behind Vanessa. Despite the dark, you can see Vanessa just ahead of them on this straight. There's just have a look. There's not too much of a gap. It's probably 3 or 4 seconds, isn't it? And Erhan 7 seconds behind. Potentially, there could be 4 of them all tussling for second spot. Vanessa in pole position clearly at the moment, but Zany Ryder and Malcolm on her tail, and they're getting closer. Look, they closed the gap a lot. You can see Vanessa just lighting up under the street lamps there. Absolutely love these graphics. I know I said it earlier. And Zany Ryder and Malcolm sitting there working as a team. I don't know if there's any communication there, but certainly they're not fighting each other so much. Vanessa gets around that corner quite safely with 1.5k to go. Malcolm and Zany, they're 7 seconds behind at the moment. I think that might have pulled out. I think Vanessa might have pulled out a little bit more of a gap. Frank now really comfortable. He's something like 40 seconds ahead of Vanessa, and I think Vanessa has pulled away from Zany and Malcolm a little bit, so she's probably looking a little bit more comfortable now. 11-second gap between Vanessa and Zany Ryder. So Vanessa looking like she may well get second with only a kilometre to go. I don't think anybody's going to chase too much. But what power-ups have we got left? Have any of these riders got the key power-up that's going to change the placings? Vanessa now 40 seconds behind Frank, so I think we can assume Frank's going to win with less than a kilometre to go. Erhan now 60, a full minute behind Frank, but only 10 seconds behind Zany Ryder. So he could, and Malcolm of course, 18 seconds behind Vanessa. So the gap between Vanessa and Malcolm and Zany Ryder is closing a little bit. It's down a couple of seconds, but only 800 metres to go on lap 3 of 3 here in New York on the dark. This is New York night. The map on Cade, and you can see the wonderful graphics and illuminations. And that is Zany Ryder using a power up. So that's probably killed off the challenge from Malcolm. But can he take Vanessa? He has. He's going to hit a bendo, and this is the problem. And Vanessa stays up and gets round. Can Malcolm take Zany Ryder? I don't think he's going to. I think Zany Ryder might be up. There's 4-second gap. So that's the problem. If the straight isn't long enough and you're still on the power up, you're going to have to brake and waste it or take the risk and crash. So that was kind of wasted. Zany Ryder not getting second spot in the end. Frank Garcia now, 300 metres to go. Remember, there's a couple of tight bends just before the end. You do a right, and then there's a left right on the finishing line. But I think Frank will just look to stay up because the gap is wide enough for him to take it comfortably down this last little straight stretch before that bend at the end with 100 metres to go. Here's the bend, the finishing line just around the corner. Another great win for Frank Garcia as he crosses the finishing line in New York in the dark with Cade in West London. Does the victory salute. Vanessa probably on course to get second, but only 3 seconds back to Malcolm, so it's not a dead cert yet. Not far to go. Malcolm uses a power up. No, he needs to brake now. He's going to crash on this bend and lose the benefits. And he has braked just enough. Vanessa is fighting back though. Vanessa now piling on the pressure. Will she crash? No, she's got round it despite the speed and just pinches it off. That was cracking racing. Zany now using a power up right at the end to get around that last bend, but has to settle for 4th place, not on the podium. A cracking tussle between Vanessa and Malcolm. Highlight of the race, in my opinion. Erhan calmly comes round to take 5th spot. Mark Allard must have had some bad luck because he was doing rather well earlier on, and I think he must have crashed and we missed it. Mark now just pushing up to the latter stages of the race, not too far to go, I would suspect now, to go around that right-hander and up towards the next left-hander and the finishing line. So Mark about to come in next as we go around that last corner. Mark looking to just better his time a little bit out of the saddle as he crosses the line, and the Canadian sitting back in the saddle, cursing some luck, I would imagine. Emily from Australia now coming home and just taking that last bend as well and carefully taking it. Clever steering, going around the apex of the bend, going around the outside and then coming across. Great finishing, exemplary. Here comes Baz. He's got a little way to go, I would imagine. So anyway, well done, Baz. Great to see you. As I say, Baz only recently bought a smart trainer, so absolutely learning all the ropes here. No prior experience, and as I say, a valued and loved, much loved, should we say, member of West London Cycling. Always out on our Sunday rides. Been listening to all our tales of excitement, and especially I think when we started talking about the crashing on Cade, he decided that was it. He needed to go out and buy a smart trainer. So absolutely fantastic racing, brilliant racing by Frank Garcia to get a convincing win. Vanessa and Malcolm, that finish was just so exciting. Absolutely loved it. And well done, Vanessa. Bad luck, Malcolm. I mean, you nearly got it. It was just on that last little bend, and Vanessa just had that skill set to get around that bend slightly faster, despite having been overtaken on Malcolm's use of the power-up. The power-ups adds excitement to this because it's strategic. There's so much going on in Cade Sport. It really is the most engaging platform. Zany Ryder having to settle for fourth, unfortunately, after all that. Been with Malcolm for so long, but Malcolm pushing that power-up right at the end. Erhan, a solid ride, as you usually expect from the man from Turkey. Mark Alad-Will, as I say, doing very well earlier on. I think he must have crashed and we missed it. Emily M showing us that she's got the skills, and I think she will be one to watch going forward. I'm sure Baz is getting near the finish, but hopefully we'll see his name pop up any second now. So let's see if Baz's name gets added. I think he gets added automatically when he crosses the line. I would like to think so. So let's see if it happens. There's Baz. Oh, he hasn't quite finished yet. Oh, he's coming round to the finishing sections now, isn't he? So as I say, he's learning this very much. So I think it's fantastic, and it's nice to see riders taking the trouble to bother finishing it. There's none of this. Oh well, I was so far behind, I'll pack it in. No, the right thing to do is you carry on doing it. You increase your skill set, you increase your experience, you learn how to do it. Baz just chucking in one of those power-ups. I suspect this is the corner caper one, so that he gets around that corner cleanly and safely. And I'm trying to see where Baz is on the course. Actually, I think he might be a little way from the finish. So I might be sort of doing a bit of. I'm just trying to look at the times now to work out. Oh, he's got 400 metres to go, so that helps establish it. So it won't be too long. I don't think Baz is going to pedal too hard. I think he's going to learn, practice cornering here rather than press on and just go for speed, as there's nothing to really chase. See, taking that corner quite slowly. You can gain time by going on the inside, and so Baz hasn't used the steering perfectly there, but he goes across to take the inside on this one. So this is great. This is he's used to steering here. Take the inside of the bend, brake before the bend, but then freewheel round it. If you've got capacity, start pedaling. If you're right on the red, just freewheel. And 100 metres to go as Baz comes up to that final bend on the finishing line and completes the lineup in Veer 15. Fantastic stuff. Well done, Baz. Thanks very much for being there, and we'll see you at the next one. So don't forget, as I did say, we will be running now for the next 6 months, starting on April 5th, every other Wednesday on Cade Sport, our World Series. And this is based on, we're looking at races that involve skills. So Cade sharing it with another platform, both of which have steering on. Cade by far the one with the most skills in them. The other one does have steering, but doesn't have the braking. So it's not one you can't crash. So they're not quite the same. But what we'll be doing, we'll be taking the top riders from both those series. So you can qualify using Cade. But the final, as things stand, will be on Cade. So the Cade qualifiers will have the advantage in the Grand Playoff Final, which is on Thursday, 5th of October 2023. It sounds a long way away, but only 13 races between now and then to qualify. As I say, we haven't quite decided on the numbers. We're probably looking at something like, something that's 60 or 80 riders, so we'll take the top 30 from each series or something like that. But we'll hone that nearer the date when we see what capacity is on the Cade courses that we choose to use. So remember the date, Thursday, 5th of October. Make sure you're on Cade Sport every other Wednesday with us at 7:30 UK time for VR Skills World Series. Oh, this is going to be so exciting. And I think Vanessa and Malcolm have just shown you how exciting it could be. Thanks very much to ZMS for another superb production on the broadcast. Damon, you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much. There's Damon waving to us all, and look, that studio just looks so impressive, doesn't it? You're on Cade Sport, you with West London VR, ZMS Broadcasting. The team brought you this race, but it was the riders that made it. See you next time. Bye.